Hey guys, welcome back to the page. Today we're going to do a video on building headlights. I've had quite a few comments on the headlights on my Banshee. Guys, right here. So I'm going to show you how you can build your own set. They're about 45-50 bucks to make and probably take about an hour. So let's go ahead and get started. So these are the parts that I got. Ordered these on Amazon. I think they were 20 bucks. This is just a home track light. Got it from Home Depot. It's 10 bucks. You can also get them on Amazon. I think they're about 8 bucks. I'll put some links in the description below as to where you can get all these parts. These are just the dust caps off of Banshee swing arms, and just a piece of 1-inch tubing cut to 1.5 inches. So these have a snap ring inside, comes out, and they've also got this on the back. So we're going to go ahead and take this out and also take out where the light bulb screws on the inside. And this part right here, you kind of just gotta work back and forth and break out. You want to be careful because the metal's pretty thin, so just really easily work it back and forth. You don't want to bend that up too much. And once you get it out, cut the wires, pull that out, and you got the housing for your new light. This is just a standard rubber grommet. We're going to want to open this hole up just a little bit. If you got a step bit or a reamer, it'll work best. If you got a drill bit, it'll work. Just be careful that you don't catch it and twist this all to hell. So the point of that is just open it enough to where your rubber grommet will fit inside. Then we're going to take our piece of 1-inch tubing, mark the center of it, 1.5 inches, so go 3/4 of an inch, and we're going to drill a hole right in the center of that to 1/4 inch. So now that we got our hole in there, take this, and just center right where the hole coming out the bottom is. You're going to want to drill the hole right in this crease in the center. Also to a 1/4 inch. Take a 1/4 inch bolt. One thing I forgot to do, I'm going to go do real quick. You're going to want to, depending on how long your bolt is, ours we can't get in here, so we're going to take our drill bit and kind of walk it so that we can come up in on an angle. Now our hole's got a little bit of angle to it. Bring our bolt in. Slide it up through there like that. Then we'll come in, attach it here. I'm going to use a flat washer, a lock washer, and a lock nut because we don't want it coming loose. And you can, if you want, put a little bit of epoxy on that to keep it from spinning. But the way it sits in that groove, once you get it good and tight, it's not going to spin really. Once you get that in, just go ahead and tighten it up. Kind of a pain to get a wrench on the inside of that tubing. you get it good and tight. Turn it where you want it. Tighten it just a little bit more. Alright, so now we've got the light. This is going to be where you mount it. You make sure to get the 1-inch tubing, so it's a 1-inch OD. And then these dust covers will go right on. And then that's how your light will mount. One thing you want to do is make sure that when you cut your piece of pipe, put your dust covers on and fit it inside the light socket on your Banshee, just to make sure that you don't have to come back through and do any trimming later. And then on these, once I kind of get them started, I like to put them in a vise and just get them really tight, because it is a pretty tight fit right up here where the dust cover touches the body of your light. So we've got those in, pressed in, and that is basically your light body. And you want to take your light, you're going to unscrew the halo from the actual projector. You're going to take that beauty ring that you took out before and fit it up. If you've got some little clamps or something, try and clamp it all the way around. When you epoxy it in, you want to make sure you got a real tight fit. Now you got those two pieces together. I'm going to take JB Weld plastic bonder. I think this was $6 at AutoZone. I think it's a 3,500 PSI hold, plastic. So I used half of it on the other light. We'll use half of it on this light. So I just want to squeeze the two parts into the little mixing tray that it comes with. Mix it up really good. You got it mixed up. Once you got these two pieces clamped together, you look down in here, you've got a pretty good sized gap, probably 1/4 of an inch between the housing and then the threaded part where your projector actually threads in. And then it's got grooves on it right here that are going to be good to hold the plastic, and then this also does. So we want to take our epoxy and just feed it in between there. Be real careful that you don't get the epoxy on the threads where your projector threads in. Just want to kind of push it down, make sure it gets down into that gap, so that when it hardens, it'll kind of fill the gaps down in there and we'll lock it into place. Once you've got your epoxy in there and all filled in, just take your finger, run it along where your threads are, just to make sure you don't get any that dries in there. And this epoxy is a 15-minute set, so it'll set up real quick. This is the one I built last night. This one I did paint once it was all together, and then put the caps on separate. You really don't need to paint it unless you want all this to match. If you're not worried about it, this already has a nice powder coat on it. And so that's a good look right there. Guys, while that epoxy's curing, I'll go ahead and give you a preview of the next episode for the Banshee build, show you what we got coming up. I'll have that video coming out in the next couple of days. And also, I think we'll do a giveaway on a set of these lights. So if we can get to 100 subscribers, then we will do a giveaway in the next 10 days. So today is June 16th, so we will do the giveaway on June 26th. So go ahead and subscribe, leave a comment below that says Banshee headlights, and that'll put you in the raffle for the winning. So here's what we got coming up for the Banshee. We've got the motor built, some motor mounts, got the fuel tank, got the mounts on the bike, and then also we'll do a little bit of work on the steering. So go ahead and hit that like button, go ahead and subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you can see what's coming up. And let's go ahead and see where we're at with our epoxy curing. Okay guys, it's finally dry. Took a little bit longer, it took about a half hour to dry. Go ahead and pull our clamps off. You can see squirrels out there. See, that's your basically your mount. So we'll take our projector, thread it in. This stuff's all plastic and it's really lightweight, so as far as fitting in there and bouncing around, I've never had any issues with it coming out. And this epoxy is really strong, especially the way it locks in on those grooves. So now take our rubber grommet, put it in our hole that we opened up. Give you a nice clean place to put your wires through, keep moisture out. I've got this 10 mil straight conduit. It's not split loom. You can use split loom if you want. This is just conduit that's not split. And we're going to take 3 wires. Got an 18 gauge ground, an 18 gauge power, and a 22 gauge power. We'll share the grounds, and then we'll have the halos come on your low beams and the projector come on your high beams, so they're going to each have their own power line. And keep in mind too, these are HID lights, so LED lights, so your best bet is to go with a DC conversion, just for the fact that they will last longer, but they will work with your stock setup. They just may or may not burn out quickly depending on what your voltage regulator is outputting at. But if you do a DC conversion, then they will last forever. So we'll go ahead, run our wire through our loom, put it into our rubber grommet, and then this 10 mil conduit, push it up in there. We've got a really good watertight connection. So we'll strip all of our wires back. use any kind of connectors, butt connectors or whatever. I like crimp cat connectors personally, but it's really not going to make a difference on what you decide to go with. Hook our pink wire off of our halo up to our red 22 gauge. I'll take the white and the black. White wire off the halo, black wire off of the projector. Hook it to our black wire running through our conduit. Red to red. When you get it done, there's what all your connectors are. Pink to red to red, black to black and white. Fold it up. Just a couple cable ties to make sure it's all nice and secure. Pull your slack through your tubing. And one thing you can do that I have done on a set of lights, I didn't do them on mine and I've never had a problem with it, but if you get just some expanding foam and fill this cavity in here probably to where you got about probably 1.5 inches once it expands from the outside. And when you press this in, it's going to grab the back of your light from the inside, and when it dries it's going to hold that and it's going to kind of glue it into place and keep this from bouncing around. I didn't do it on my lights because if there's ever an issue, I like to be able to pull this out, and like I said, I've never had any issues with it. These snap rings snap in pretty tight and hold pretty tight. So go ahead and snap that in, and there's your light. Got a small power supply here. We'll go ahead and hook some power up to it, and I'll show you them turned on. So there is just your halo. There is just your projector. And then there is both of them put together. can see it's pretty bright light. It's not very dark in here, so it's hard to show, but they do work pretty well. My personal favorite. Daytime running, just your halos. So that's it for the build. Go ahead and hit like. Go ahead and subscribe. If you'd like me to personally build you a set, just private message me and we will work something out. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for the next Banshee video. Thanks guys. Bye.